Alright, so first things first, I noticed that Magnus has already come into the confessional box twice already, pretty early in the round, and I'm feeling a little bit bored, so I thought it would follow suit. Everything that's been played, all prep, nothing new, so it's kind of boring. I can just sit in the back room and wait, or come in here and talk a little bit more, so I think I'll come in and talk instead. So my game, again, like I said, is all standard. I expect D4, CD4, CD4, D5. That's was in the files that I reviewed this morning, so I'm expecting him to play that. Again, I'm not sure why he took so long before playing it. Maybe he was looking for some other original, unique setup as opposed to trying to take some of the center with the pawns. So that's what I'm expecting in my game. And of course, Magnus's game, Tari's trying to get this classic Moxie bind with C4 and E4, and of course we know Magnus plays this from the white side, and he loves it so much with all that spatial, with all the spatial advantage in the center of the board. But again, it's going to be a big fight, so we'll see what happens there. So yeah, all the games are going. I feel very good right now. I'm still in prep. I'm up 25 minutes, and I feel like good things should happen. But again, we're very early on, so we just have to let the game develop and go from there. But welcome back, everyone. So we're here once again. Today's round number 6 of Norway Chess. So as always, I'll start with the other games before I talk about my own. So Magnus's game is kind of interesting. Magnus deciding to play Sicilian. Obviously, was here in the confessional box before me. He's playing the Sicilian. Tari plays bishop b5 instead of sort of going into the open Sicilian. Now, all this look kind of normal, but I'm a little surprised that Tari did not play queen takes d4. In general, queen d4 is much more principled, leads to a much more set kind of position with very clear-cut plans for both sides. Generally, after queen d4, Black will play some e5 with knight f6 or h6 first in that order. And it's much more concrete. In fact, I think Magnus might have played this against Vichy with the white piece or something very similar. So Tari playing knight takes d4 is a little bit surprising. I think that Tari basically here is saying that he's going to be aggressive. He wants to play like rook e1, knight c3, bishop g5, maybe queen d2, something along these lines at least. So it's a little bit, it seems like Tari wants a game as opposed to trying to be solid here. So again, I think Magnus is probably going to get very good chances to win today. And that leaves us with the other game, which is the game between Noterbeck and Fabiano, where of course, we have the classic duel of like the ex-lovers, as we like to say. Obviously, I don't literally mean that in the true sense, but you have, of course, Fabiano, who worked with Rustam Kasimdzhanov for many years, even through the candidates, I think in 2020 or 2019-2020, around then. Of course, they split after that. They haven't worked together. Now Rustam is here with Noterbeck Abdustarov, the very talented Uzbeki junior. Of course, what's also funny about this game is that I was wearing this exact same shirt, and it was in the first round of the candidates last, I think it was late June, if I remember correctly, when Fabiano played the same knight b3 idea to go knight a5 against me. So it's kind of funny to see this line on the board, Fabiano with the black piece in this situation, whereas against me, he had the white pieces. So that looks, it's pretty normal so far. I think we'll see which line Fabiano goes for. Again, I've looked at this quite a bit, so I won't reveal any of the specific lines, but there are multiple options here for Black that should be playable. So we'll see what Fabiano does. I don't expect him to be that surprised by the choice, though, because of course he played this against me with the white pieces. And one thing that Fabiano is very good at is memorization, on top of all the great prep he has, but his memorization tends to be very good. So even if he hasn't looked at it recently, he definitely has looked at it from the white side. So I expect him to play pretty quickly, and we'll see how that develops. And then that takes us, of course, to the last game, which is my game against Ali Reza, where once again, up until the last 2 moves, we're following my game against Anish in round number 4, I think it was, because this is the 6th round. So Ali Reza played knight a3 in this position, a little bit unusual, but of course it's something I looked at a couple days ago, and so I played knight h6, and now it appears that Ali Reza is deep in the tank. Now, as far as this game itself goes, it's a simple one-off, and of course anything can happen. I'm feeling pretty good though, because it would appear that I've out-prepped Ali Reza. I don't know if he simply hasn't looked at knight h6 or what's going on, but I would say that looking at the overall tournament, just in general at Ali Reza's future, I would say the one weakness that I've noticed in this tournament in particular is that he seems to not be super well prepared. It seems like if he gets surprised, like against Fabiano, his reaction wasn't very good in that game. And I don't know, but it just feels like the prep isn't quite as good as it was going into the candidates. So that's the one pro thing I would say. But again, this is a one-off game. Anything can happen. But that is the one critique I would have, is that it feels like his preparation, it isn't quite as good as some of the other players like Fabiano very specifically. So he probably needs to work on that a little bit. As far as the game goes, of course, we'll see what Ali Reza wants to do here. There are many options. He can play for c3, d4. He can play d3. He can go knight c4, maybe even e5 as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm already up 15 minutes on the clock, assuming that he didn't move as soon as I came in here. And I'm feeling pretty good. So we'll just see how the game develops.